He's still itching over there for the WrestleMania.
I just had a couple on the rest. They said Undertaker's. I watched a little bit of Undertaker's match was all set up kind of thing, but they said it was one of the best they've ever done. He did go over, which is WrestleMania. So he always does. They brought back Edge. Edge is 46 years old. He wrestled Randy Orton. It was a 37-minute match, and everybody's complaining because it was horrible.
Why would they wrestle for 37
minutes? 46-year-old man and a 37-year-old man.
Two people that aren't that great.
Then they had Bray Wyatt did his crazy match with John Cena, and John Cena, for some reason, right now looks like Ernest P. Worrell.
He looks like Ernest.
He looks like.
What
Ernest.
do you mean by that?
You pull up John Cena. He looks like Ernest. I'm telling you, he looks just like Ernest P. Worrell.
I don't know if Hunter knows who Ernest is.
Let's see if it tells from the other match the other day.
You know who Ernest is?
No, I know who John Cena is.
It's the third one, Kevin. Pull up the third one where he's got Bray Wyatt behind him. That was WrestleMania. Does that not look like Ernest?
I don't know who it looks like.
Ernest P. Worrell.
So Wyatt's wearing a mask there.
Or do the side by side. Do the side by side. See, quick. Do Ernest P. Worrell and John Cena.
See, since this was, I knew we was going to talk about wrestling today, Zach. I found some wrestling masks and I set them on the table. I meant to bring them in today. I was going to do the show.
Rey Mysterio.
I've got an extra Sting mask and I've got an Ultimate Warrior mask.
You're just going to do it in a mask.
Well, I'm just going to do it in a mask.
We got our PPE
do
here.
the John Cena, Ernest P. Worrell side by side.
Well, there's holes in it. It's not covered up. So you want to see Ernest?
Yeah.
Hunter, do you know who Ernest is?
He doesn't.
No, but
I remember the Halloween. There was Halloween.
Yeah,
there was a Christmas movie.
Jail.
Christmas was the best one.
I like the jail. Ernest Goes to Jail.
Jail was good too. Christmas was the best.
You got to go home.
And
it is worth Amazon and Netflix.
They got to. You can do it together. They've got
you
it.
can?
Yeah.
And he would always go.
Yeah. My grandma loved the Ernest Goes to Camp.
I'll tell you what though, John Cena is still big SOB. God Almighty.
There it is.
Give you another.
There he is down there with.
To give you another movie plug with this whole quarantine. I watched Biodome the other night.
Yeah.
Is that not like?
Biodome's a terrible movie.
I mean, he's turned into Ernest.
You got to be on like acid or something.
But so that was all the now, one thing. Here's my gripe about it. I'm trying to think who Brock Lesnar lost to that won the belt. The new guy that's come up. I can't even think of his name now.
Braun?
No, he won against Goldberg. They got two belts.
I was about to say.
They got two belts. So Brock gets beat. Okay, so Brock is the one that ended the Undertaker streak, right?
And then Brock gets beat.
So the way he ends the Undertaker streak was he hits so many F5s on him, finally puts him down. He hits that many F5s in like 3 minutes on the
Drew McIntyre?
Yeah, he hits like that many. He hits like that many F5s on him, and he kicks
survives.
out, and he kicks him with the super kick, and he beats him. I was done. I'm done. You end Undertaker streak with Brock Lesnar, and you let him lose to.
But see what they've done now. Now they've set up a Lesnar Goldberg, and that's what they want. The two guys that don't know how to wrestle that just spear each other, and it'll be just who gets a concussion CTE first wins the belt.
Yeah, one of my biggest complaints, I'll say, Zach, in the last 10 years of wrestles, is that there's no
wrestling
not comedians, characters.
Yeah.
So by playing with those masks, I was thinking, with my son yesterday about all the guys who wore masks or face paint or something back in the day at some point. Most of the guys had some type of
they
a name.
They don't even have cool names.
That's what I'm saying.
They just go by
Randy
stage
Savage
names,
was
but they're real
Macho
names.
Man Randy Savage. Everybody had some type of a name or character or something. And now it's Drew McIntyre versus Randy Orton. Well, who the fuck are these people?
Because honestly, I'm not gonna lie.
I love the character.
I guess you could say it's just a white redneck thing. Like I was a big WCW fan.
That's what I was.
And they had a match where the NWO Wolfpack were wrestling Rey Mysterio, and it was if he lost, he had to take his mask off. And I'm telling you, like, I was jumping up because he was an underdog. He's like 5'9", but I was like, if he has to take his mask off, what's he gonna look like? Who's he gonna be?
And then when he took it off, you're like,
and he took it off, you're like, he's got in contacts. Look at him.
Yeah.
And that was a big thing for those guys too. They really didn't want to do that, and I think they got kind of talked in because I was a big WCW fan, NWA back even in the. I might be older than everybody here. I don't know. I was 42, so back into the 80s when they were even coming up here. So yeah.
I mean, you had I grew up right when I guess the Four Horsemen was fading out. I mean, that's when Big Papa Pump become his own little deal, and then the Bulldog.
Interesting story about that. It's funny you bring that up. You were talking about wrestling, so this is not a side story. He was feared tremendously in the locker room. Nobody messed with him. The only person, Big Papa Pump, Scott Steiner, the only person that he wouldn't mess with, they say, was Ron Simmons. So he goes out and DDP's wife, Kimberly Page, had found some drugs in the dressing room, and she takes them to the office, and she said, "This is Sonny's drugs." So they give Sonny a drug test, and she passes it. So Big Papa Pump goes out, and he does a full shoot, live TV about how DDP was a punk and his wife is a liar, and he was chicken to fight him. So DDP meets him at the where they were coming back in, and they start going at it. And Steiner almost pulls DDP's eyeball out of his eye. And DDP was a bouncer back in the day. He can hold his own. And they still talk about that as the craziest thing to this day. If they didn't pull Steiner off of him, DDP would be having a patch like Thor off of Avengers.
He wasn't having a roid rage, was he?
Yeah, because they said he
I remember he used to come out and he'd kiss his arm, his muscle.
DDP said, I hit him, and he said it was like hitting iron. And he said then he was on top of him, and he was trying to pull his eye. They said DDP's eye was like hanging down. Awesome.
So one of my list on here was a Mount Rushmore today. I have two different ones I wanted to do, but since we've already talked about baseball, let's do Zach. We've named the wrestlers our Hall of Fame, but what about Mount Rushmore? What about tag teams?
For me,
now I'm gonna say my favorite of all time was the Road Warriors.
I can't answer this. I'm not. I didn't know that much about.
My favorite.
Do they even see now? They don't even have. How many tag teams are there now? The White family.
They're trying to bring it back. They're gone.
The Hardy Boys were the last one that I remember.
Usos a little bit, but
literally the Hardy Boys is probably the only one I knew of. Yeah. That was a tag team.
They put tag teams together to split them up now.
Buy some hunters, some bootios.
We'll say this: my favorite all-time.
You know what bootios are?
Gabby's got the shirt.
And so who was it when Kane and Undertaker when they tagged? Who did they tag team against? Because that was a crazy match. Like because they're supposedly brothers.
Yeah.
And they went against somebody, and it was a.
They had Disciples of Apocalypse on DOA.
What's the guys with the glasses? The black guy, white guy, wore the camo. The Dudley Boys.
Dudley Boys.
I was thinking before that. I was actually thinking of Ron Simmons and the big Texan.
Who was with
big
Ron?
Texan? John Laurinaitis. Not John Laurinaitis. What was his name? The Cowboy.
John. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah, I was thinking that. But my favorite all-time tag team is Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah, they would. I think they would have to be on there. Is the Road Warriors on there?
Road Warriors is number one.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Number one. They're the only team that has every single title that there was. They're the only
you know
team.
who the Road Warriors are?
And I was thinking.
I told you, man.
Opening song for me would be.
I'm not gonna know this.
Opening song for me would be
coming
into Iron Man. So that's what they used to come into.
So this is my favorite tag team.
Road Warriors. Are you sure they don't go to a Georgia football game?
They would come in and just. Everybody was scared of them too.
It's Animal and Hawk. They wore the football shoulder pads with the spikes on them.
They would come in and just throw everybody out of the ring, and it was over. It was awesome. So I only saw them a couple times. Personal favorite, but not on all-time team, was when Nikita turned face because Magnum had got hurt, and he went with Dusty. I think they called them the Superpowers. Yeah. I love that team. The crowd. We was actually at Charlotte Coliseum when that happened, and the crowd went crazy because they came out to fight the Four Horsemen.
Mm-hmm.
Me and Kevin was down there, but running back. His mom can tell a story of us running back and forth, tagging all the wrestlers' hands, and Rock and Roll Express was coming through them. But Rock and Roll Express is my all-time. Legion of Doom. You would have to put Arn and Tully's really good too. Heart Foundation's really good.
There's a lot of groups. There's a lot of more than just two. But I was trying to think of just.
All those guys are good.
That were just straight up just tag team partners. That half the matches used to be tag team matches. And
it was important for them. Like this was an important part of the show.
Not we just throw two people together and we're gonna have a
Midnight
tag team
Express
match.
was great. Bad guy tag team.
The Steiner brothers.
Steiners. You can't leave them off. They're definitely in the top four. Doom. Ron Simmons and Butch Reed.
How about Scott coming out there and acting like a dog and peeing on, doing the fake pee on people?
And listening to the, he had the face drew on his hand.
And he had the wrestling thing covering his ears. What are they called? I don't know what they called.
It was the amateur wrestling thing.
Yeah.
Scott Steiner actually would do.
All right, Hunter. Here's the Zach. Here's what I was talking about. Kyle Busch won the 24/7 championship a few months back, and this is what happened.
Even he said it was like hitting iron, and he said then he was on top of him and he was trying to pull his eye. They said DDP's eye was like hanging down. awesome.
So one of my lists on here was a Mount Rushmore today. I have two different ones I wanted to do, but since we've already talked about baseball, let's do Zach. We've named the wrestlers our Hall of Fame, but what about Mount Rushmore? What about tag teams?
For me,
now I'm gonna say my favorite of all time was the Road Warriors.
I can't answer this. I'm not. I didn't know that much about.
My favorite.
Do they even now they don't even have how many tag teams are there now?
The
White family.
They're trying to bring it back. They're gone.
The Hardy Boys were the last one that I remember.
Usos a little bit, but
literally the Hardy Boys is probably the only one I knew of. Yeah. That was a tag team.
They put tag teams together to split them up now.
Buy some Hunters, some Bootios.
We'll say this: my favorite all-time.
You know what Bootios are?
Gabby's got the shirt.
And so who was it when who did Kane and Undertaker when they tagged? Who did they tag team against? Because that was a crazy match. Like because they're supposedly brothers.
Yeah.
And they went against somebody, and it was a.
They had Disciples of Apocalypse at one. DOA.
What's the guys with the glasses? The black guy, white guy, wore the camo. The Dudley Boys.
Dudley Boys.
I was thinking before that. I was actually thinking of Ron Simmons and the big Texan.
Who was with
big
Ron?
Texan? John Laurinaitis. Not John Laurinaitis. What was his name? The Cowboy.
John. I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. I was thinking of that. But my favorite all-time tag team is Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah, they would. I think they would have to be on there. Is the Road Warriors on there?
Road Warriors is number one.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Number one. They're the only team that has every single title that there was. They're the only
you know
team.
who the Road Warriors are?
And I was thinking.
I told you, man.
An opening song for me would be.
I'm not gonna know this.
Opening song for me would be
coming
into Iron Man. So that's what they used to come into.
So this is my favorite tag team.
Road Warriors. Are you sure they don't go to a Georgia football game?
They would come in and just everybody was scared of them too.
It's Animal and Hawk. They wear the football shoulder pads with the spikes on.
And then they put Kevin Nash on Magic Mike, and that just ruined it for me. I was like, dang, right? Come on, Kevin.
Scott Hall was actually the Diamond Stud in WCW back in the day with Diamond Dallas Page.
What was Razor Ramon? I liked it when he was Razor Ramon. Razor Ramon. So, what about Val Venus? You remember him?
Yeah, and he had Lex Luger and.
All right, here are the nominees, guys, real quick for the NASCAR Hall of Fame. They have 3 different ballots. I'm only going to go over the modern era because some of these I don't care about getting into it.
Yep, there you go.
I'm just going to be honest with you. Don't really care. Let's see. Mike Stefanik, it says winner of record-tying 9 NASCAR championships. I guess I don't know what that is. If that's a truck or something like that. I'm sorry if I don't know. We'll skip to some of the folks I know. Ricky Rudd.
Oh, yeah, that's a good one. Old Tide car.
23 times in NASCAR Cup Series. He won the Brickyard 400. Harry Gant's nominated this year, folks.
He's not in yet?
No, not in yet.
That's a disgrace.
A winner of 8.
The Skull Bandit.
Yeah, I mean, that's...
He only won 18 Cup races, Zach. No championships.
Wow.
Two Southern 500. So
you can catch his interview.
It's one of those
on KTC broadcast and video.
Clint,
give that little blurb out there.
We interviewed him at the Cleveland County Fairgrounds when we opened up the fairgrounds out there.
And
he came out there. He signed my board game, the Harry Gant Racing board game I have, and he was really nice. Great interview. Talked to Clint. He'd actually raced at the Cleveland County Fairgrounds when they originally opened up back in the old days, and so the Skull Bandit Harry Gant, just as nice as he could be. Ladies' man, Zach, is what they said. Carl Edwards.
Is that you or me?
That's you. Carl Edwards, 28 Cup victories, 2007 Xfinity champion. Neil Bonnet, 18-time Cup champion. Jeff Burton, 21-time Cup champion, including 2 Coca-Cola 600s and a Southern 500. And, of course, with nobody else on the ballot, this guy will probably get 100%, just like Mariano Rivera did. Dale Earnhardt Jr. is on the ballot with only 15 most popular. If that's your biggest accomplishment.
Yeah, that's not good.
15-time NASCAR Cup most popular driver.
Was he a 2-time Daytona 500?
2-time Xfinity Series champion, and he's won a couple. He's won a few races. You don't even mention how many NASCAR races. Listen, y'all, listen to this. Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s listing for his resume on the NASCAR Hall of Fame does not list anything in Cup victory. It lists the most popular driver award and 2-time Xfinity Series champion. Not once does it mention Dale Earnhardt.
And he's going to get in on that last name.
I will bring I will bring this up. Neil Bonnet's going in with Dale Earnhardt Jr. Neil Bonnet and Dale Earnhardt hated each other.
Did they?
Y'all, they used to. If you watch some of the
anybody that raced against Earnhardt pretty much didn't like him.
They raced and they was both running each other. They off the track. It was, if you watch anything about the '80s, they loathed each other.
I'm trying to pull up the Junior, his crappy stats real quick here before we crown him. This is the Mike Trout of NASCAR over here, Hunter. All right, achievements. 98, 99 Busch champion, 2004 and 14 Daytona 500 winner, won the Winston one time, 2 Bud shootouts, 4 Cam duels at Talladega, 5-time NASCAR Xfinity champion as an owner. So there is Dale's resume, and of course the most popular driver in NASCAR. So I don't know how many they're going to put in. None of these folks really stand out to me as like those have to be in the NASCAR Hall of Fame. They've started cutting back on how many they put in every year because of a lot of that too. So just looking down the list again: Neil Bonnet, Jeff Burton, Dale Earnhardt Jr., Carl Edwards. None of these are champions really. It's a lot of people that won a lot of races or won in something else. So Mike Hilton's on there. Congratulations to him. Blah blah blah. All right. Anything comment on that? Any of that NASCAR, Zach? Anything on that Hall of Fame? I mean, I wasn't too impressed by that. But when you put in 5-6 people a year for 5 years, you run out of all your Hall of Famers.
That wasn't smart on their part.
Really quick. But they wanted to get some of the people in, maybe before they die and things like that, and did deserve it. So I do feel for that. Yeah, real quick, do you have a 4 for your wrestling tag team Hall of Fame?
Well, who did I say? Road Warriors. I said Midnight
we said
Express,
Steiners, Road Warriors, and Rock and Roll.
If I was gonna put a fourth, and I was not a fan of them at all, was the Dudley Boys.
I wasn't either, and a lot of people loved them, like a ton of people.
So, I would probably put Hart Foundation or something up there like that.
Well, here's
I love Harlem Heat.
There you go. Here's you some all-time.
Well, you got a picture of Nash and Hall as the outsiders. You want to see them?
The British Bulldogs.
Is the Diamond Stud and the Wizard?
Oh my God! Is that what I'm looking at?
That's
Kevin
Stud
Nash.
and the Wizard in WCW. That's how creative they were.
Oh.
I like, you brought up the White Panther pants. The Rikishi bottom.
The stink face.
Remember that when he wore it?
Yeah.
The sumo with the thong and would sit on people's faces.
Stink face. He gave McMahon. You tell he's an awesome owner when he let him do it to him, because I wouldn't let him do that to me.
No.
Rikishi let him do that?
Yes. He Rikishi.
Hunter, here's a Kevin Nash and Scott Hall
as the Wizard and the Diamond Stud back in the day.
I see that.
What is he wearing? Is that a mask?
It was a mask.
Okay.
He hated it. He said,
I was wondering what in the world.
It was their great idea. I think it was Ole Anderson's idea.
All right, here real quick. Here's some nominees we might have forgot: Harlem Heat, the Hart Foundation, British Bulldogs, Doom with Ron Simmons, and who was the other one?
Butch Reed.
Butch Reed, New Age Outlaws.
Midnight Express. I love them.
Did we get kicked off for using copyright or something?
Probably.
Yeah, that's fine. We're recording online. We might have got kicked off Facebook a minute ago, but I'll go check it. Mm-hmm. It says it's live up there.
It says it's live, but I'm on our Facebook page,
ours.
and when I shared it, it said this has been made private for certain viewers. I was like, what are you
God.
talking? Okay.
Midnight Express, the Wild Samoans, Steiner Brothers, Rick and Scott, Nasty Boys, Zach.
Yeah, they were a very hated.
How about the natural disasters?
Yeah, that
Earthquake
was
and who?
Typhoon. Interesting story. Typhoon married Dusty Rhodes' daughter.
Some of that.
Just one of them weird stats. I guess I'm weird. All them weird stats.
That's a left field one. Do what?
The game plays right here.
Are you ready for some football?
Your sports leader, WOHS Shelby, WLON Lincoln, WCSL Cherville Gastonia.